Okay, so now what I want to do. I'm going to go in and I want to put in a body. Okay, so let's just hide myself for now. I'll just hide myself. Whoop. Just going to create a layer and just hide my body for a second. So I'm going to try and do pants and shirt in one video. Give us a general body size. And then I'm going to go here to create, and you can come up with however many ways you want to do this. I'm going to go and start my pants with a cylinder. What a crazy idea. A cylinder, a real cylinder. Not like... Anyway, so I'm just going to take the cylinder, and I always like to have my character standing on the grid. Okay, so I'm going to pretend he's standing on the grid here. Great! And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to give myself some subdivisions in height. Let's go for 6. Okay, cool. And I'm going to pull this one down a bit. Okay. And maybe I'll pull these over here a little bit. Well, actually, leave them right where they are. I'm just going to take these two faces right here. I'm going to extrude. Switch to my move tool. And I got to turn on my soft selection. And when I have the move tool on, if I hold down X, I can snap this to the grid. Boop, there, it's flattened out. And I'll just, here so you can see what the hell I'm doing. There's two faces there. I'm just going to delete them. My God, I'm going to pull this one forward a little bit. And I'll pull that one back a little bit. Okay. These faces up in here, I could keep them if I wanted to. Maybe I'll just keep them for the sake of keepsakes. Okay, we'll just take these edges out, though. And boop. There, I got the quads. And we'll even take this object. I've snapped everything to the grid, my scale here. I'm just going to take the scale, and let's go ahead and quickly do a history delete. Okay, and I'm going to freeze out my transformations before I try to... Come on, edit, and I do the duplicate special. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. Let's undo that. I'm just going to take my pivot point and I'm going to move it DX. I can snap that here. And let's try that again. Duplicate special. So I got pants. Yes, and you might say, well, maybe that looks too wide. It's always really good as soon as you put it in the other side, you quickly realize I screwed up. I can pull that together. Maybe I'll deselect this and I can pull the pants in a bit more. Okay. And let's get the two panes going. So from, say, the front view here, I'm going to take a look at this, and maybe these points here should come up a little bit. Right around the kind of crotch area, you have an area that goes on a bit of an angle like that. Okay, and then this one here, I'll pull that up a little bit. Okay, and maybe I'll take these three, and I'm just going to scale them together. Whoop! Let's look from the side. We always want our knees kind of bent, so I'm going to bend them, something like this. And I'm just going to grab this. I'm going to pull that forward a bit so it doesn't look too unnatural. And maybe that one there too, that can come forward a little bit. Okay, great. That's my knee area. Then maybe if I grab my little vertices back here, I'm just going to hit my soft selection. And maybe if I do something like this, I can scale them together or something like that. So that's where it's going to compress. And yeah. And then there's my thigh area here. Maybe the thighs might come out a bit more. It's you'll find that, yeah, this typically doesn't get too flat right here. The thighs come out and whatever. I've got a really weird flat butt. That's not good. People are going to look at my butt and go, hey, you've got no butt. If I go and maybe I could push those in a bit. But before I do that, what I'll do is I'll just do an insert edge whoop. And I'll pop a loop here. And I'll just deselect the front edge of that loop. Oh, come on. Sometimes I notice when I pop in an edge loop and I switch to the move tool, the pivot point sits down here and you have to move it afterwards. But there, now I've got more buttage on my character, and I could pop in another loop up in here so that when I press 3, it holds the shape a bit better. And maybe if I go to the front view, I might decide I don't want my waist that big. Okay, well, let's just go and soft select that sucker. There, and I can pull up my pants. Maybe get a belt someday. Yeah, we can do something like that, and we kind of got a nice shape there. And maybe here I'll just pop a loop down here near the cuffs. Okay, and you can come in and pop in more loops now, and you can give yourself a little bit of style. Whoop. Maybe maybe I'll push that in a little bit. Yes. And put another one in my thigh. I always kind of have this kind of angle like this in the thigh, but I'm trying to keep the hip, the knee, and the ankle more or less straight, and I kind of just go in and modify a little bit. Typically, this is how I'll handle this situation. Okay, something like that. And let's see, how does this look? And we can come back later and refine this, but that's pants. Okay. And let's kill the history. Okay, good enough. And what are we at? We're at the 5-minute mark. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and do a shirt. So for a shirt, let's go in and make a cylinder again. Oh my god. So that my chest looks like a cylinder. Okay, and I'm going to do something like this. Like we've got a barrel. Okay, great. And this is going to be my torso-y chest. If I go in and I give myself some subdivisions. Okay, so let's go to 5. And I'm going to go ahead, grab the vertices on top here. I'm going to turn off the soft selection. And I'll just going to do something like this. And let's see what we got here from the side view. Maybe I could even go in here and I'll scale this in a bit. And if I change the angle here, I can get something that looks like this. Okay, great. Okay. And then what I want to do is I want to kind of build arms out of this thing. So let's go and grab, say, these ones. We'll move that up a little bit. Maybe this up a little bit. Okay, so I get kind of a square right here. And if I grab that vertice, this one, and this one, and I grab my scale tool, and I scale those in a bit, I get that nice circle right there, yeah. Okay, and that could be my shoulder. Here, I'm going to just move this down a little bit. No, my chest looks a little bit square. Okay, then I'm just going to go and we'll pop of this here, pop of that there. Kind of nudging around. Okay. Great. And actually, you know what? If I look at it in this view, you can see I only did one. I might as well just go ahead and delete myself. Boop! There. And my pivot point's kind of in the middle already. I'm just going to freeze in my transformation scale, my history, and I'm going to give it a duplicate special. So I have to model one thing at a time. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Then, if I go in here and I grab on my faces, get my scale tool. Woo! Flatten that out. Flatten that sucker. Yeah, flatten that sucker. And then if I go ahead and hit extrude, and my dogs are freaking out. If I go in and I switch from local to global, I can scale this thing out, pull it out a little bit. Maybe I'll make it a bit smaller. Okay, so there's part of my shoulder. Okay, and I'm just kind of eyeballing how this whole thing is going to work. So I'm just looking. The shirt feels like it's a little bit too uptight. Okay. I always tend to make it droop from the back towards the front, so it kind of droops down. Okay, great. And bring in the back a little bit. Okay. And actually now when I look at it too, I'm seeing maybe I could put an extra edge loop here. Whoopie. Okay, cool. And, okay, that's good enough. And then let's keep grabbing those faces here for the arm. Now, when we're going to put the arm in, you got two choices. You got the A-frame or the T-pose. I'm going to go T-pose because the T-pose is typically easier to do. To rig, that is. Okay. And the relaxed pose is the A-frame is sometimes better for modeling purposes, but I'm trying to keep this thing simple so that I don't hurt anyone's feelings. And if I do, at least I did it intentionally. So we do something like this. I still don't like how this is sitting up here. This looks too weird. I'm going to bring it down. Okay, better. Better get a bucket. Okay. Anything else? Actually, you know what? I shouldn't have used... Did I use 8 on this thing? I probably should have used 12. But whatever. Maybe I'll try and pop a loop in here. So if I pop a loop here... See how it went and made that funky. We'll deal with that in a second. Pop a loop here. Okay. And I kind of noticed like that made quads, but I don't like those quads. No, they're not nice quads. I'm going to go and get my split polygon tool. I'm going to split from here to here to here to here to here. Boop. Okay, and I'm just going to take some edges out of here. How about that one and that one? I'm going to right-click. Whoop, there. This one, if I go in and I collapse it, yay! You take this one here, G, collapse, got quads, another kind of a funny direction. Okay, cool. And right around where my elbow is, I'm going to need some more edge loops. So I'm going to pop a loop here, pop a loop there. When I look at these things, if I go ahead and I grab my vertices, I just would like them to spread them out a little bit. So I'm going to do this. So it's a bit wider in the back, so it holds the shape a bit differently. And here, there's going to hold that wrinkle a bit differently too. And we'll pop in one here. I'm going to pop one here, pop one there. Okay. Just kind of making sure they're kind of evenish over the whole arm. And I can do more stylization on here. I could make a nice little coat, whatever I want to do. Okay, and let's see what happens when I hit 3. Kind of lose some of the shape down here at the bottom. Maybe I'll pop in another loop down near the bottom. Okay, and what about maybe get a little bit of soft selection action? I'm just going to hit B. Okay. I always like making people pear-shaped. I don't know, it's one of those things I do. Okay, but good enough for now. Nice and simple, nothing crazy. Actually, maybe one last thing I'll do. What are we at? The 11-minute mark? Okay, cool. I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to grab this face. This one, this one, this one. What's he doing? I'm just going to go in and go and extrude again. I'm going to scale it down a bit. I'm going to hit G and extrude again. I'm going to push in and scale in. Okay, because later on I'm going to stuff a hand in there. Or stuff a hand coming out of there. Whatever you want to say. Okay. Cool. And maybe one last little thing I'm going to do really quickly. Hello, I'm hiding between my legs. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to grab all these pieces down here. And let's just quickly go and group of them. And I'm going to take the group and I'll move it up. I'm just kind of looking at the rough scale of my body. I'm not going to adjust the head because then I don't know, I could, but actually why not? Because I've grouped them all, I could probably do that and just see how it looks with the body. Okay, it's looking kind of big, but I kind of like that kind of cartoony big head thing, so I might keep it and play around and make the belly bigger and make things thinner here and there and horse around with this. Maybe I'll scale it down a little bit. And I'll decide to horse around with this later on. And now you can see that maybe with the shirt here, if I went in and I grabbed a vertex here and I pulled it forward and down. Looks like he's got a hunchback. He's got bad posture. Okay. And then maybe I'm just going to go ahead and put an edge loop in. Okay. And if you want to put like a collar on here and grab this face, this face, this face. I go ahead and I hit extrude. And when I extrude, I pull it out a bit. Let's hit 1 and see what this kind of looks like. Okay, cool. And I hit G and I extrude again. Okay, cool. And then I go underneath here and I grab these faces underneath. And I hit extrude. And if I pull out along the blue arrow, I got a collared shirt of some kind. Well, the beginning is a 1. This kind of sucks. Okay, so I know I'm going to need to do some work. Let's hold down X. Boop, and I'm just going to delete that. And we'll see what happens when I hit 3. Okay, and I'm going to have to go in and reinforce this. But for now, we'll call that collared shirt time. And let's kill the history, freeze transmissions, and I'm going to stop this video here.